Please give me a moment while I go live on Facebook. Should be getting started shortly. And we should be live on Facebook. Hi everybody. This is Sami Abusad. Welcome to another episode of the Strategic Swing Trader. We're gonna do what we always do, which is go over the market and go over some amazing swing ideas for next week. But before we start, as always, standard required disclaimer to let you know that trading is risky and that whatever we discuss today is for educational purposes only. Also, if you'd like to download a copy of my free ebook, link for that is in the description below the video. I also have a double open house next week. This is rare. It only happens once a year. I was going to say once a week. Once a year, when I have an open house to both the Strategic Swing Trader newsletter and the Strategic Day Trader chat room. So link for that is in the description. You can check me out for the whole week next week. Okay? Hope to see you there. Let's go ahead and get started. If you find benefit in today's video, please be sure to hit the like button. That helps support our channel online, so we'd appreciate it. And if you have any questions for us, email us at info@t3live.com. info@t3live.com. Okay, so the market. The first thing to notice is that we have a downtrend. Okay, we had an uptrend in the past. Let me just actually open up the chart a little bit more. That's the daily chart of the SPY or the Qs, doesn't matter. The SPY is the S&P 500, obviously. The Qs is the NASDAQ 100, which represents the NASDAQ. And now we have a downtrend. We have lower highs, lower lows, okay? When the weekly chart pulls back, which it is right now, the daily always, not always, but almost always goes in a downtrend. So we have a beautiful weekly pullback. This week, this upcoming week, is going to be key, because we will either trigger the buy setup on the weekly chart or continue lower. Okay, so as you can see, the last pullbacks, they all worked. So for the last year plus, every single pullback on the weekly chart worked. Even the one bar pullbacks, the 1 bar pullbacks. Okay, there you go. Every time we retested that 20, we rallied back up. Okay, so now we have a 3 bar, kind of 4 bar pullback, and next week, this week, is going to actually be really important, because it will tell us whether the market is going higher to retest the prior top or lower. Based on what we've seen so far, I think lower. Okay, but we don't know for sure. We have a quasi pseudo sell setup on the daily chart because we gapped. This was a nice sell setup because we rallied up to the declining 20. In this case, it's not as nice because we gapped up. But again, we either come in, okay, or we fail on this sell setup to trigger the weekly buy setup. So this week is going to be important, okay, really important. And that's it in terms of the market. The Qs is slightly weaker. Look at the SPY is at the 20, maybe slightly below it. The Qs is well below it. So the NASDAQ, the tech stocks are leading on the way down. The SPY is dominated by the financials, and the XLF is the tracking ETF for the financials, is at all-time high. Okay, so that's why primarily also all the oil stocks are not in the NASDAQ, they're in the S&P 500, and as you know, oil has been on fire. So the SPY is definitely more bullish at the moment, but the picture looks a little bit, looks overall the same. The IWM has looked different all year, and the thing about the IWM is that it's bullish because it's sideways now, but if you look at the monthly, we rallied hard and we've been basing at the top. Now I've also seen bullish looking bases fail. So if the Qs and the SPY drop, so will the IWM. Okay, but notice the bottoming tails, notice how we're basing at the all-time high. That's bullish, but again, it will really depend on what the Qs and the SPY end up doing. Now on to the swing ideas for the week, and if you'd like to see which plays I will be taking personally, make sure to join the open house, and you will click on that link, the first link in the description in the video below, and you will get the newsletter delivered to your inbox tomorrow morning. Okay, so make sure to click on that. All right, here are the ideas. Here's the watch list basically. AIG, which is basing nicely on the weekly, monthly. It's pretty nice, I think, as a long over Thursday's high, which is 58.11. I would give it to 54.80 as the stop, and then target on this. I mean, it's got room to 65 as the first resistance area. Where's 65? 65 is going to be a multi-year high, basically, and it's this prior base right here. Oh no, that's not it. I'm not sure where I got 65 from. Let's go ahead and switch to logarithmic scaling, I guess. Hold on just 1 second. Let's change the scaling to open up the chart a little bit. And that, where's 65? So actually, it has infinite amount of room, pretty much. Okay, the next resistance area is gonna be, oh, there's 64. So I saw that 65 was the top somewhere. I'm not sure exactly which point, but as you can see, those are from 5, 6, 7 years ago, so not very relevant. And if AIG breaks above the base, which it's trying to do, I think it could see 250. Honestly, it could. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen even in 1 year probably, but overall AIG looks higher to probably 250 eventually. If the market drops, AIG will not succeed. It will not work. And yet AIG is not one of the ones that I selected for my own account tomorrow. Okay, it's not a favorite, but it does look higher long term. ANAB looks higher also long term. This is a very illiquid stock, so that's kind of a downside to it, but it looks higher on the monthly, the weekly, and the daily, and higher. Target one would be 35.80 or so. This bar's high. So it has at least $7 to the prior high on the ANAB, is a daily base breakout. The apples or APLS, I shorted this stock a few weeks ago right here, and it looked really, really good, only to fail. So I had to cover it, of course. And now it looks like it wants to break out, especially if you look at the hourly chart. So that hourly chart has got a breakout over 34, stop under 31 something, I believe. 32 or so, and then the target on this, I mean, it has room to 50. Okay, has room to 50, but let's say target one, that's too small, 36.20. That would be too small, but really has room to 50 on the APLS. APRE is the daily breakout. That's not too bad. It's also a weekly breakout. It reminds me a little bit of the WINT, which I bought just on Friday. Yesterday, 2 days ago. It's the same kind of idea. Last gap up got sold hard, so I don't usually like to play a breakout if the last gap up got sold, but it looked so good on the hourly chart that I decided to jump in. APRE looks pretty much the same, almost the same, so I like it. If you want Chinese stocks, I like BZUN higher. Some of them I like more than BZUN, but they don't have a good setup right now. BZUN looks the best to me in terms of the setup that it currently has. If you look at the hourly chart, that's a beautiful hourly base breakout. If you look at the daily, that's a 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I like it higher over Friday's high, which is 19.40. Stop under 18.40. That's a $1 stop, and target would be about 25. Pretty nice reward to risk. Okay, 5 to 1 at least. Okay, it's 6 to 1 really, 5.5 reward to risk. FNF is got a weekly buy setup, so that's the weekly chart, and it just needs to take out the red bar's high. So it's a little bit like the BZUN in that it has a 1, 2, 3 on the daily chart, so I like it higher, but it's got a weekly buy setup, so it looks higher over 47.40, stop under 46.60, and target would be the prior high around 49.50. GE is another stock that I like long term. It looks like the AIG a little bit. I like it higher over 107.50. Okay, I think, or 10. Let me just double check. Yeah, 107.50. And look at the IAG. I think it bottomed for now. Has room to the 200 MA on the monthly chart, which is around 160 on the AIG. So I like it over 107.50 as a long-term trade. Another Chinese stock, this is one of the online education stocks that fell apart from like 150, 149, I think. Yeah, 149 to $1. I mean, $2, right? And right now it's trying to move back up. I'm not saying this is a buy and a hold, but could it be played for a few days? Sure. And out of the three that the main online education stocks, GOTU, TAL, EDU, they all will either rally or fall together. But out of the three, I like GOTU the most. And the entry for this would be over 358. Stop under 326. Target the gap fill. Really has room to $10. Has room to $10 or so. HGEN is got a 1, 2, 3. So I like it higher. It's like the apples. Apples is a little bit stronger. So I'm going with apples. But this looks okay too. Over 650. 650, stop under 616 and target about $8 on the HGEN. KIRK triggered on Thursday long on that pop. Got it in the newsletter, in my account also. It's a monthly buy setup. Now it has a 1, 2, 3. Okay, so long over 21.60, stop under $21. And this is a long-term trade, but one can also look to take a target one around 23.50 or so. And then target 2 would be the prior high on the monthly chart around 34.50. Okay, remember the IBKR? I talked about it in last week's video. How is that doing? How did that do last week? Did really, really well if you took it. Okay, why am I mentioning this? Because it's like the KIRK on the monthly chart. Very similar. Now, I like the IBKR more, but this looks similar. LKQ is another long-term idea. It's not just a swing, would be a long-term hold. Notice that daily base breakout forming. So over the base, this was meant to be a straight line, but over the base, stop under right here. Okay, as a long-term play. Check it out on the monthly. That's a nice base. Very, very nice base. Of course, all these plays needs to trigger first, need to reach that entry point. So in the case of the LKQ, it needs to take out 53, the highest point, which is 53.17, looks like. Yeah, 53.17. Stop would be under 49.20. So it's a big stop. It's a $4 stop, but it's a long-term play also. Now RMNI, I don't remember what it looks like. Okay, it's a daily one. It's a daily breakout. It broke out already last week, but it's been basing the last couple days. So I like it higher over 104. Okay, stop under 1050. So it's about a 60-cent stop on the RMNI. Looks higher. Okay, RSI triggered a few days ago on not sure which day, and now has another base breakout. I like it more on the hourly chart. Check out that hourly time frame. So over the base, stop can be put just under Thursday's low, whichever is lower, Thursday or Friday. Thursday's low. So long over 21.20 with a stop under 20.20. Another $1 stop. Schwab looks higher long term. All the financial stocks look higher long term. Especially, I like AIG the most probably. GE is a big one too. And then Schwab looks good higher. Here's the XLF. I mean, they look alike. So I like Schwab. Don't love it, but like it higher. SLCA has a 1, 2, 3 on the daily. I don't like it that much because there's all that resistance right here, but I like 2 time frames better than the daily. I like 3 things about it. The gap right here, which gapped over a big red bar, which means everybody that shorted it is now trapped, is underwater. Monthly buy setup. And I also like the hourly chart. It's a base breakout. Okay, so 3 things: the gap on the daily chart, the monthly buy setup, and the hourly base breakout. Okay, SLCA. So long would be over Friday's high, 10.15, and the stop would be under the pivot, which is also Friday's low, 9.60. Okay, on the SLCA. SLI is a daily buy setup. So the entry for this would be over 783. Stop under 740. Okay, and target about $9. So again, only if the play actually crosses over 783. Like it would have to print 784, 785. before it is considered to be triggered, to have triggered. Trip is basing for a breakout. It would need to take out 3760, and it's got another monthly buy setup. So it's similar to the IBKR and the KIRK in that it's a monthly buy setup and it would be a long-term trade. Okay, so I like the trip a lot. UPH had a secondary offering last week, early last week on Tuesday, I think, and it's been basing. If you look at the hourly chart, it is setting up for an hourly base breakout. It just needs to take out 181. Okay, so over 181 long, stop under 160 and target about 250. Looks good, but needs to trigger. And then last but not least is the water, WTER. This has got a monthly buy setup, I think. Yep, monthly transition A and a weekly buy setup. So that's a pullback to the rising 20 on the weekly. So I like it over $1.80 over this bar's high. Stop under 152. Okay, and target 1 would be about 225. Target 2 would be about 250. So it doesn't have the highest reward to risk, but it looks fine. Looks okay, looks good. Here's the short list, the bearish list, and unfortunately the bearish list does not look very good. I got a couple of oil stocks. If oil were to fall, I don't think it's ready yet at all, but if oil were to fall, I like the CPE more than the CEIX, and the short for this would be under Friday's low. So short under 57.22, stop over 59.50, and target the 20 MA, which is around 45. Maybe it even gets down to, I mean, look at the monthly. It's like a double top. But again, I don't think oil is quite ready. Those are a couple of oil watches in case USO gaps down or starts selling off. There's other ones that look good too, like the VET, I think, looks okay. I don't know if, yeah, SM maybe. I don't really like it that much. So a couple of oil stocks. Then CTSO is a 1, 2, 3, but this is a thinly traded stock, doesn't do a lot of volume. So it's got a 1, 2, 3 short under 710, stop over 731, I think, not 728. So this bar's high should be 731. So the stop would be over 731, and target on this would be around 655. Okay, on the CTSO, but it's very thinly traded, so I don't really recommend the thinly traded stocks because they tend to be whippy and spready and jumpy. FBRX is it triggered already last week and the week before that, but it still looks lower. It still looks lower. There's nothing wrong with shorting a stock even at $2, because it can go, what if it goes to $1, right? What if it goes to 0, like a lot of these little stocks end up doing? So I like it. I still like it short. Would need to take out break under 264. The stop on this would be over 287. It's about a 25-cent stop. FLXN is got a 1, 2, 3 on the daily and a weekly sell setup. So I like it. I don't think it's quite ready, meaning I would want to see another narrow range bar and then lower after that. But I do like the FLXN for maybe not for Monday, maybe for Tuesday or Wednesday. Okay, FLXN. HIPO, we talked about the FLXN not being quite ready. Maybe HIPO is already too late, meaning I should have gotten in it on Friday, but I wasn't aware of it on Friday. I didn't see it on Friday, and so I didn't get it. But the trigger should have been under 430 or so, at 430. As you can see now, I'd have to jump in under 420 or so. So it's a little bit late, under 420, so at 419, but definitely looks lower. And target one would be around 380, 378. Okay, on the HIPO. HOFV is a base breakdown. I like it more on the hourly chart. That's not a bad base. It also tried to go higher right here and failed, so it should be lower, under 250 with a stop over 268 on the HOFV. And as you can see, it's breaking under long-term support. The next support area is going to be around 175, so plenty of room, 75 cents. Okay, RCON, another little stock that looks lower, better on the hourly than on the daily, under 240. Stop would be over 266. Okay, on the RCON. And then there is support below right here at 210. That would be target one. Target two maybe around 125 or so on the RCON. RELY is a beautiful looking sell setup. It just needs to break under 39 bucks. This is a very wild stock, so be careful. But I like it under 39 with a stop over 41, and target on this would be around 35.50, at least target one. SOS has been a short for a while and now has another sell set up. Notice that Bitcoin and the rest of the cryptocurrency stocks rallied, with the exception of maybe SOS. And then another one that is, there's something wrong with it totally, is Riot. Look at Riot. Riot used to trade in tandem. That's the word, in tandem with the Mara. Remember Mara and Riot? Mara is recovered okay. Hasn't really recovered, I mean, by going all the way to the prior high. Bitcoin hasn't gone back up to the prior high, but Mara has recovered a bit. Riot has not recovered at all. In fact, it looks lower. So there's something wrong with Riot. There's something wrong with the SOS, both Bitcoin stocks. I like them. I like the SOS short under 210 with a stop over 225, 227 that is. And target on the SOS, I mean, really has room to $1.25. Has room to $1.25. Maybe target one around $2, and then target two around 125. VLTA, not very good unless it comes back down and negate that pop that we got on Friday and breaks down under the double bottom that it established. So I like it short under Friday's low, under 770 with a stop over 806, and there's no target on it. It's at all-time low. WW, Weight Watchers, looking to shed some more weight. It's been shedding weight, a lot of weight, for a while now. As you can see, wow, this was 100, wasn't it? Didn't? Oh, maybe not. Thought it got to 100. I think it did, but they changed symbols, or they had a spin-off or something. Remember when APRE took a stake in it, $5 billion stake? I think it went to 120, and now it's back to $17. At any rate, it definitely looks lower still. I like it lower under Wednesday's low, which is 1770. Stop would be over 1844, and then target on this would be it's got support already. Hold on just a second. Let's see if we're below the support. That's $18. So it looks like, oh, 1775. So actually the entry should be under 1775. It'll be under the support also. 1770 that is. 1770, and the target on it would be around $14. Like it. I wish it wasn't down so much here recently. The last couple months it's been selling off hard. I hope it bases a little bit for a little while longer, then it will become better. But if the market falls, all these plays will drop. So you gotta have a watch list in case the market drops and you want to short, and you also gotta have a watch list in case the market rallies and you want to focus on the longs. Okay, that's why I always scan for both, even when I'm all out bullish, just in case. You never know. And sometimes there are stocks that are following their own sector, their own respective sector, so they're not following the SPY or the Qs. And sometimes there are stocks that are completely on their own page. So you gotta have a watch list of both, a bullish watch list, bearish watch list. X looks good. Gap down on Wednesday, had a couple of narrow range bars. It would have been a lot better, not slightly better, a lot better if those two narrow range bars were at the bottom of that big red bar from Wednesday. It would have been a lot better, but I still like it a lot under 2044. Stop would be over Thursday's high, which is 2140, $1 stop, and wow, look out below. I mean, it looks lower to $16, maybe 17, but 16, 17 on the X, so I like it. And then last but not least is the XELA, grinding lower. It's down a lot, I know, from $5 to $1.65, but guess what? It has room to 120 or so. Really has room to 125. So I like it short under the base that it established, sort of a base on the last 3 days. So under $1.65, stop over $1.75. Okay, and that's my list. This list was typed in the copied and pasted in the description of the video for your convenience, so you wouldn't have to type it up from scratch. At any rate, hope you enjoyed today's video. Join me in the open house next week. Get to see what I do on a daily basis and see if you're interested. We'll also have, I'm sure, T3 will have some special offers next week, but only for those that attend the open house. All right, thanks so much. I hope you enjoy the rest of the weekend, and good luck with your trading next week. Take care, everybody. Ciao.